What is up, everybody? It's Tuesday night. It's the late night agenda. I am back with your LFC transfer news show. I hope you're all keeping well. You're all very welcome along to tonight's stream. For those of you that were with us for the Fantasy Premier League Season 1 or Stream 1 or Week 1 or whatever you want to call it, I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for bearing with us as we just went through the rules really of week number 1. But this is our real show. This is our big show. This is the show where we talk about all things Liverpool related. And let's be fair, during this show tonight, it's probably going to be all things transfer related because the window shuts in just over a day's time. It shuts at 5 p.m. on Wednesday. I don't know what's up with my phone here. As you can see, I'm trying to lock it and I'm all over the shop. Right, how are we? I love you, Craig. What you do makes a difference to so many people, and thank you for that, mate. It's my pleasure. It's a pleasure to be on here, as I said, chatting to people every night. And if we do help anybody in any small way, look, you guys do it right back for us as well. So lots of love to you, pal, and thank you. What's up with the pin tweet and what about Real? I don't know what you mean by pin tweet. Pin tweet on our account, we're giving away a free jersey, so I don't know what the fuck that's about. But if that is what it's about, we're giving away a shirt with thanks to footy.com as well. So go over there, Anfield Agenda Twitter account, check out the pin tweet. Competition closes on Friday. You get a chance to win this season's home shirt. All you have to do is retweet the competition tweet. Make sure you're following us, footy.com as well. Job done. We'll pick a winner on Friday after the Norwich game. Right, how are we, everybody? Nice shirt, thank you very much. It is Atlanta picked up a couple of years ago actually. Fabinho's wife said he's going nowhere. Exactly, and that's where I wanted to start the stream. Thank you, Pat Moynihan, for leading me straight into that one, pal. Let's start by talking about the fact that there is more chance of me, this fat bald Irish twat, signing for Real Madrid this summer than there is of Fabinho. This is another bullshit rumour, and where it started from I think was Colombia, perhaps. Could be wrong on that one. But yeah, look, it's nonsense. And as somebody has said, Fabinho's lovely lady wife, Rebecca Tavares, has posted a gif mocking the link to him away. There was a link for him to PSG a while back as well. I think it was the last transfer window. Again, they both basically belittle that because it isn't happening. And Real Madrid can fuck off. He's not going there. I'm sick of Real Madrid already. They've been sniffing around Salah. They've been sniffing around Sadio Mane. Sniffing around Fabinho. Now Real Madrid can do one. They can't even afford Paul Pogba. They're not getting Fabinho. So let me just start off with that, because I know a lot of people are wondering why Fabinho's on the thumbnail. What is all this talk? In case you have missed it, there is a bit of a bullshit rumour that he could be linked with a move to Real Madrid. It ain't happening, ladies and gentlemen. A couple of people talked about Liverpool removing their pin tweet. That's what it was. Sorry, mate. Those of you that I spoke to earlier, I don't know. Liverpool removing their pin tweet. Some people think that means there's a transfer coming. I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. But we're going to have to wait and see, aren't we? There is so much to get through. This transfer window has really picked up over the past 24 hours or so. Let me just get into the chat and see where everybody is. Got a ticket to Liverpool versus City, said Jason Collins Mannion. Nice one. Not at all jealous me, mate. Not at all. Fucking lots. Very much so jealous. What's your opinion on Coutinho to Tottenham? Yeah, this is the subject that I knew, and rightly so, was probably going to dominate our conversation tonight, mate. And thank you, Ellis, for putting that into the chat. So look, Spurs now seem like they could be favourites to land Philippe Coutinho on a season-long loan deal from Barcelona. If reports are to be believed, Pochettino's even phoned the player, who it is important to remember he previously worked with during his time at Espanyol as well. Coutinho had a loan spell there from Inter Milan. The rumoured loan fee seems to be somewhere between the region of £21 million for the season to £27 million for the season. But earlier in the day, interestingly enough, their North London rivals Arsenal were also being rumoured to have been in conversations for Coutinho, although there were conflicting reports there. I know there were two journalists. Julian Laurent, I remember, said that there's no interest in Arsenal and no interest in Coutinho. Somebody else, maybe it was Fabrizio Romano or somebody else, I can't remember who it was, did come out and say that there was interest from Arsenal and Philippe Coutinho. But it does look like more likely to Real or to Spurs, excuse me. But interestingly enough, I've heard that Manchester United cannot be ruled out of this as well. And I know a lot of you are saying, fuck off, he's not going to go to United. And I hope you're right. They seem like they've gone back in, sniffing around Christian Eriksen, who earlier on in the window, it had been widely reported, snubbed the potential move to Manchester United. And now that the window's getting to a close, that Daniel Levy's arse is starting to twitch a little bit at the prospect of maybe losing Christian Eriksen on a free long term. Yeah, it seems like maybe they could do business with Manchester United and maybe Christian Eriksen might make that move. But as I said, Coutinho is also rumoured to be of interest to Manchester United. Somebody who his agent came out and said pretty much categorically that it's not a move that Coutinho believes he could make. But is a move to Arsenal, is a move to Spurs. I want to know your thoughts on this, ladies and gents. If Philippe Coutinho does indeed join Arsenal or Spurs, does that alter your view of him? Maybe you think already you don't like him. Maybe a lot of you believed or hoped that he would come back to Liverpool. I want to know your thoughts on it, because it is one of the big transfer stories of the day. Right, let me get into it. Craig, you streamed the Liverpool match. You got to watch the All-Ireland. Porrick, you're always asking me about GAA, mate. Honestly, I don't know how many times I can say this, buddy. I don't really watch it that much. So I'm not going to be streaming it, definitely not. Will I watch it? Probably. If I've nothing else on, I'm not going to lie. Bit of a glory hunter when it comes to the dub, so I may well watch it. Would it bother you having to play against Coutinho if a deal does go through, said Bradley McIntosh. I'm not going to lie, mate. It probably would. I probably would. I'd kind of just gotten over the whole Barcelona situation and him forcing that move. And then the rumours that Barcelona want him out, that he might be part of a deal for Paris Saint-Germain to take Neymar back to Barcelona. That doesn't look like it's going to materialise, because Coutinho doesn't want to go there, and now PSG are saying that they've no interest in Coutinho. So it's looking like the only league that could possibly afford Coutinho is the Premier League. So whether that's Arsenal, whether that's Manchester United, whether that's most likely Spurs, I guess we're going to have to wait and see. Would it bother me? Yes, it would bother me. It would let me know that he really is a fucking little snake if he does go and play for a Premier League rival. Even if it is on loan, it will basically be, to me, a slap in the face for all Liverpool fans. But maybe he's already given us that slap in the face, so I guess we'll have to wait and see. What's up with the title of the stream? Get here earlier, motherfuckers. I'm only joking with you. No, the title of the stream basically is around the fact that there have been links for Fabinho to Real Madrid, and it's been poo-pooed by pretty much anybody with any sense. And of course his good lady wife as well has said quite simply it isn't going to happen. So that's what it's about. Basically us telling Real Madrid to fuck off, because I'm sick of hearing them sniffing around their players. I'm sick of them being linked. Just go and try and take care of business that you might actually get done, Real Madrid, because you're not getting Sadio Mane, you're not getting Mohamed Salah, you're not getting Virgil van Dijk, you're not getting Fabinho, and any other player that Real Madrid have been interested in from Liverpool this summer, you're not getting, so don't even bother. We clearly need to sign a left winger. If we allow somebody else to go, or if we allow him to go to a Premier League rival, I'll be furious, said Aganito. Well, he's not a left winger. He was kind of forced into that position at Barcelona. I fully believe that when Coutinho signed for Barcelona, he thought he was going in to drop into that little Xavi and Iniesta role there in midfield, in behind that front three. But he was shoehorned out onto the left-hand side, and it didn't quite work out. If Harry Wilson leaves, we must be making a transfer for a new winger. Look, Wilson's gone. That's pretty much done. He's passed his medical. For those who don't know what I'm talking about there, relax, it is only a loan. So Harry Wilson has joined Bournemouth pretty much on loan for the season, and it's important to note here that there is no option to buy included in that deal. So Harry Wilson gone to Bournemouth on loan for the season with no option to buy. I really want to make that clear. What do you think about this, ladies and gents? I'm with everybody that believes if we're letting him go, surely to God something's happening. Do you know what I mean? Surely to God something is happening. Because Ryan Kent's available as well, and I'll get on to that in a minute. There's been a fee set for him. Leeds have been rumoured to be interested in him, but if Liverpool don't receive this fee, which I'll get on to in a minute, they're happy to keep him. But if we've moved Wilson on, which we have, he's gone to Bournemouth, good move for him. Good to see him develop in the Premier League, and good to see him be tested at the top level, which will give us a good indication of whether he will perhaps have a future at Liverpool Football Club. But if I should say he has made that move, what are we going to do? Look, we've just shortened our attacking options even further. So is there something in the works? I want to know what you think, ladies and gents. It looks like it's going to be a hectic end to this transfer window. His agent said if he was going to the Premier League, he would go to Liverpool. His agent said, yeah, something along those lines. It would be very hard for him to join a rival of Liverpool's. It was something along those lines, mate, if memory serves me correct. Christopher Burns said, I personally think it's absolutely none of our business who Coutinho joins. It's his career and needs to do what's right for him, but as long as it isn't United, couldn't give a flying fuck. Well, you've absolutely just contradicted yourself massively there. How can you say it's none of our business who Coutinho goes to, and then in the next breath say as long as it's not United? Do you know what I mean? So then you're basically getting to the point of who do we deem as rivals for Coutinho to sign for. So it's one or the other, Christopher. You either care or you don't care, mate. Let's be honest about it. I love the banter though. I do love this laugh, mate. I'm only winding you up, by the way, Christopher. You're fully entitled to think, mate, whatever you want. That's why I put it open to the chat, because it is something that will differ from fan to fan. Do you remember when a fan hit the Aston Villa captain, as in when he hit Jack Grealish? Yeah, it was a Birmingham fan. I believe it was in the derby as well. And Jack Grealish, to be fair to him, just got up and got on with it. I feel there's a surprise coming in the next couple of days, said Andy Seed. I hope so, Andy, mate. I really fucking do. I really do. This has been a very strange transfer window from a Liverpool perspective. It's been good that we've held on to our top players, don't get me wrong. And the fact that we haven't done any major business yet, I'm going to keep saying yet because there's still time, I think it leads us to believe, and I think there was an article came out today from Joel Rabinowitz, who's a journal that I really like and really respect. He said, kind of along what I was saying to you guys the other day, that maybe this is hinting at the fact that next summer there could be something big on, a Jadon Sancho and Mbappe. Again, they're just names I'm throwing out there. I'm not saying that we're definitely going to sign those players, but maybe a quieter window this year is because we're working on something else long term. Iranian Pride, how are you, sir? Welcome in. He wants to know what's the latest. We've just spoken about a really bullshit link, mate, for Fabinho to Real Madrid, which isn't going to happen. We spoke about the fact that Harry Wilson has joined or will be joining Bournemouth on loan for the season, but there's no option to buy there for them. What else we got? Buy Zaha and we'll win the league. Again, Zaha being linked back to Everton again today, I believe, Michael. Now, I know that they had bids rejected. I think it was £55 million before. But again, more murmurings doing the rounds that potentially they're looking to try and get a deal over the line for Wilfried Zaha. Lozano would be great, said Cheeky Naz. Craig, calm down, bro. We have no beef with Liverpool. Again, right, mate. You know how I react when someone tells me to calm down. So consider this warning one. And secondly, your media are an absolute fucking disgrace, Ala Madrid. They're forever just a mouthpiece for Barcelona and Real Madrid. Just going, yeah. So many bullshit links, mate. If I was to list you the links of players that Real Madrid have had this summer, we would sit here and laugh for probably half an hour. So, no beef with Liverpool. Kind of disagree, mate. Ramos is a cunt. There's massive beef there from me and pretty much every other Liverpool fan. Personally, I absolutely despise Real Madrid, mate. I'm a Barca fan, so I absolutely despise Real Madrid. But look, it's up to you whether you say there's no beef or not. But don't be under any misconception to the fact that most of us don't like Real Madrid, particularly because of Sergio Ramos being an absolute prick. And a possible drug cheating prick as well, I should add into that. Allegedly. Just have a research on that yourself, as I said the other night. Have you seen the photo of the Turkish Besiktas central midfielder who's seen in Melwood? Yes, I posted it. It's on our Twitter account. A couple of people think it was Adrian. A couple of people think it was that Turkish midfielder that you're speaking about. And a couple of other people believe it might just be some fella that works at Melwood, which is entirely possible. But doesn't stop us having a bit of fun, does it? I don't think it is Adrian personally, but some people do think it is him. And for people, again, that don't know what we're talking about, check out the Anfield Agenda Twitter account and you'll see a post up on there where I said, surely this isn't, can't even remember the guy's name, sitting at Melwood. And there is a picture of somebody that looks a lot like this guy and a lot like Adrian sitting underneath the You'll Never Walk Alone sign at Melwood when Sadio Mane was coming back to say his hellos to everybody. Sean Firmino said, hey Craig, how are things? Good to be on tonight. If Spurs get Phil and manage to keep Eriksen, can we start considering them as title contenders? Yeah, do you know what? If Spurs do, as you said, they won't keep Eriksen. I think he'll go. I think it looks like they're going to try and force him out the door, whether it's to United or not. But let's work under the assumption that they might get Coutinho. They may get Lo Celso or maybe Fernandes. They've brought in Ndombele. They've kept most of their team. Yeah, you probably do have to start thinking about them a little bit more seriously than maybe we would have, in seasons gone by. But I don't know. It's Spurs. I know that sounds weird, but they'll have to book their own trend, if you get where I'm coming from. They usually have strong starts and then just fade away right at the end, but they are strengthening. They have a very good manager. They have a good squad. They've trimmed that squad a little bit as well. Pochettino's finally got the purse strings loosened by Daniel Levy, and it will be interesting to see how they get on this season. But yeah, I would definitely consider them the closest to Manchester City and Liverpool with regards to possible title contenders. I think that's a fair comment. Right, what else we got? Let me just try and catch up to the chat. Juve have agreed a £66 million deal with Dybala from Spurs, a couple of people are saying as well. That's a real fuck you to United, that one, isn't it? If he goes to Spurs after basically United refusing his wages, which we know, there's no way Spurs are going to be paying Paulo Dybala more money per week than United would have been paying him, because they couldn't afford to do it. So it basically would be just a massive I don't want to play for Manchester United if Paulo Dybala ends up going to Spurs, and it looks like he may well be doing that. Good piece of business by Spurs, I'm not going to lie. I wouldn't have minded him at Liverpool one bit. I know a lot of people think that he's a little bit overhyped, Dybala. I think there's a lot more to come from. And again, for people looking for a potential link there, let's not forget Mauricio Pochettino, Argentinian, Paulo Dybala, Argentinian. So there is that link there to bring them together. Rooney. Rooney. Did anybody else see that? Dean Saunders, yes, Dean Saunders, former Liverpool player, said that Liverpool should look at Wayne motherfucking Rooney as a potential option because he'd be a good fit and he still has a lot to offer. Really, Dean? Really? Mate, come on. Really? Now, it looks like he's gone to Derby County in January in a player coaching role to work with Kaku, but what on earth was Dean Saunders thinking when he came out with that nonsense? Wayne Rooney would be a good fit for Liverpool and would still have a lot to offer. No, Dean, just no, mate. Time to put it down. Whatever it is that's in your hand, put it down and walk away, pal, because that's just silliness. Ziyech is a better fit for Liverpool than Coutinho, said Trump. It doesn't look like he's going to Liverpool, mate, at this moment in time. Now, it's important to remember as well that some clubs will be sitting back waiting for the Premier League window to end, knowing that the likes of Spain, Germany, Italy and stuff, their transfer window carries on for a few weeks after the Premier League closes. So, yeah, it is definitely going to be intriguing to see if anybody else is picked off when the Premier League window closes. Adam Smith said, I'm a United fan but love your content. Thank you, mate. Really appreciate that and welcome in. It's lovely to know that we have fans from all, I was going to say all walks of life, but yeah, we do, but all different clubs as well, to come in and have a chat because, yeah, as I always say, we welcome everyone in. We're a football fan channel, we're a Liverpool based channel, obviously. Well, Liverpool focus, I shouldn't say based, Liverpool focus channel. And yeah, the more the merrier. Werner to sign for 20 million next January and LFC to get Ryan Sessegnon for 15 million, said Stephen Singh. Again, Sessegnon, amazingly, another player linked to Spurs in the past couple of days. I wouldn't mind him at Liverpool one bit, I have to say. There's some good business being done right at the end of this window if some of these moves come off by Premier League clubs. I know as Liverpool fans, and I include myself in this, I'm not going to lie. Am I sitting back now and looking at this news of Spurs potentially getting Dybala, Spurs being in for Coutinho, Arsenal going to sign Pepe, Arsenal perhaps being in for Coutinho, United looking at Eriksen? Am I sitting back as a Liverpool fan and feeling a bit frustrated? Yes, I am. I'm not going to lie. I still believe we're in a better position than all of these clubs, and I still trust Jurgen Klopp and I still trust the group of players that we have there, but it is very strange to look at everybody else around us doing business and us sitting here scratching our nuts. I know we brought in Sepp van den Berg, I know we brought in Harvey Elliott, look like two very good signings, two astute pieces of business by the club, but there are some bargains, there are some good deals to be had. Like 70 million for Dybala to me makes sense. That's a number that I think we should have been all over. Whether or not you want to bring Coutinho back, I personally don't like the idea of us bringing anybody on a loan. I don't like loans. I don't think they benefit anybody long term unless there is an agreement to buy at the end of it. Otherwise, you're bringing in a player, strengthening your team, and then at the end of that season you either have to pony up money for a player that you've already got, so probably won't be strengthening your team, or you send them back after paying a loan fee and you've pretty much weakened your team. Saunders on the bong, said Chris D. It's a very strange thing to say, isn't it? I mean, Wayne Rooney, like, it's... I know people sometimes say stuff in the heat of the moment and people say stuff for clickbait and stuff, but that's just ridiculous, like. That is absolutely ridiculous from Dean Saunders. Gotta ask what drugs are Saunders and Rooney on. It's madness, isn't it, Divock? Like, absolute madness. Callum said Klopp sometimes is frustrating. I think he's doing everything for a reason, though. I will say, if there ever was a manager and a head of recruitment, or whatever you want to call Edwards, that deserve a break and that deserve some good grace, it's Jurgen Klopp and Michael Edwards, because they haven't really steered us wrong. But it still doesn't stop us from looking at our rivals and going, oh fucking hell, they're doing all right, you know. It is nervy, as Liz has very well said. It's getting nervy. It's getting to a point now where you're almost wishing other teams don't get business done, and you're sitting back. Now look, we're sitting back from a position of strength. This isn't a doom and gloom show. I don't mean it's come across that way. I very much believe no matter what happens, Liverpool are going to be up there fighting for the Premier League this year. We're going to be going far in Europe, and we're going to be trying to bring some more silverware in domestically, without a shadow of a doubt. LFC 8092 said frustration is an understatement. Why would Real Madrid want Fabinho when they have Casemiro? I've no idea, Arnold, mate. I've no idea where these nonsense links come from. Well, actually, I believe this one came from a Colombian reporter, I think. Creativity midfield, Pellegrini signed for Liverpool, said Midnight Football 21. Werner refusing to sign a new contract, said Brian Kelly. Yes, it is a bit of a strange situation for RB Leipzig with Timo Werner. As we know, 1 year left on his deal. They were probably hoping that he would either sign a new deal with them with a release clause or that they'd move him on this summer. What they don't want to happen is him to walk out the door and sign for Bayern Munich on a free transfer next season, which is entirely plausible. So the fact that more people haven't been sniffing around Timo Werner, it is a shock. I have to say, I was expecting more clubs to be looking at the player. Simple, Liverpool are a selling club. Who the fuck have we sold, Gary? Come on, you're belittling your own club, mate. Who the fuck have we sold? We're not a selling club, mate. You're just in a pissy moany mood for some reason and want to take it out on the football club. We're not a selling club. Who have we sold? Tell me. Have we sold anyone this season that Klopp didn't want? No. So the days of us moving on one player to maybe sign another two players, they seem to be gone, mate. And I understand maybe you're frustrated, but why belittle your own club by saying we're a selling club? We're not, mate. We're a destination club right now with Jurgen Klopp, Michael Edwards and the owners that we have. Doubt Fabinho would even want to go back to Madrid, said Kieran Aaron. Yeah, for those wondering what Kieran's talking about, he was on loan there. I know a lot of people probably know that, but just to make sure, he was on loan there at one point in his career, I believe. Right, what else have we got? Wilson is 8 million on fantasy, said Crick. I was unsure. It's a tough one. 8 million. That is quite a lot, to be fair, mate. I get where you're coming from. Let's all laugh at United for signing Harry Maguire, said Rafa the Gaffer. Can we laugh at them though? I mean, it's really tough to talk about this because I want to go fuck United, ha ha ha, let's all point and laugh. But they've strengthened. They've strengthened defensively. Whatever we think about what they paid for Maguire, at the end of the day, that won't matter when United line up against Liverpool and they've got Harry Maguire and they've got Aaron Wan-Bissaka. They will be stronger than they were last year defensively. I don't want to say that. I want to come on here and belittle them because I hate them. Of course I do. But I'm just trying to be factual here. He will improve defensively. That's the blunt truth of it, I'm afraid. They paid too much for him, yes, I believe that they did, but that won't matter long term. To United fans, that won't matter one bit. Same way what we paid for Virgil van Dijk, we didn't give a shit about. We just wanted to know that we had a world-class central defender. Oh look, I'm not calling Maguire the same level of Van Dijk because he quite simply isn't. He's a good proven Premier League defender, but he still has a bit to go before he can be mentioned in the top bracket, in my opinion. Do we have enough quality in squad depth to last the season in all competitions, asked Divock. It depends on injuries, I think, buddy. It's the same question that we were going into this summer wondering about. We all said, yeah, a couple of additions, maybe another attacking player or attacking midfielder, backup fullback, and we may have enough down with the kids to go through a 67, 70 game season. As things stand, I think my opinion is we're an injury or two away in the attacking department to being up shit creek. And unfortunately, that's genuinely how I feel. I love Ryan Brewster. I back the kid to the ends of the earth and he'll be an absolute superstar. Divock Origi's still progressing. He's not up to the level of the front three. He may get there, he may not. Scored enough important goals last year to justify that new contract, and I fully back the club and given it to him. But there's no doubting that a young kid in Brewster who's going to hit massive heights, and Divock Origi is a drop off from Sadio Mane, Roberto Firmino, Mohamed Salah. There's no doubt about that. And I think it is a little bit foolish of us not to have done something, unless, as I said, there's something big in the works for next season. And I have to give Klopp the benefit of the doubt. How could I not? The man hasn't really done anything wrong. So for me not to sit here and give him the benefit of the doubt, I feel like I'm doing him a disservice. I think he's earned that good grace, and I love the man. There must be a method to Klopp and Edwards' madness this transfer window, said Paul McCann. Yeah, there has to be, mate. They're not idiots. That's what I'd say. Whatever we think we know as football fans, these dudes know 10 times more. They've got numbers, statistics, research, scouts, head scouts, international scouts, sports scientists, doctors, all this information at their fingertips that we don't have. So whatever they're doing or not doing, it's for a reason. The owners are quite canny as well. They will have had their meetings, they will have made their plan. If they think that this season they have to roll the dice a little bit and hope we don't pick up a serious injury or two, then maybe they're willing to take a short-term gamble because they know long-term that they've got something in the pipelines. FSG don't buy unless they sell, said Stephen Singh. You're fucking boring me, mate, honestly. You're one of them, are you? Piss all over FSG. Alright, what have they done for us lately? Given us Jurgen Klopp, delivered us a European Cup, built us a new main stand, built us a new training facility, given us sanctioned record transfer fees for the club, brought in record revenue for the club, brought in new sponsors to the club, brought us Michael Edwards, brought us fantastic people to work at the football club. So, again, it's a falsity. If you don't like FSG, just come out and say it, but just don't hide behind stuff that quite frankly isn't true. Right, let me just move through some more comments. Nothing annoys me more than people just overreacting for the sake of it, just to try and get fucking attention. If you don't like FSG, fair enough, but please back it up with some facts, or some statistics, or some actual research. Sorry late to the party, what have I missed? Said John, mate, we're talking about Coutinho, we're talking about Harry Wilson going to Bournemouth on loan, we're speaking about bullshit rumours for Fabinho being linked to Real Madrid, which is never going to happen. No matter how smart Klopp and Edwards are, we should still be strengthening, said Shay Trainer. I agree, Shay, I'm not going to deny that. I'm with you on that. I have been all summer. I fully think we need to strengthen. I know anybody who thinks you need to make an addition or two, I'm not going to belittle because I think you're making a good call. And I agree with you. I just don't want to get angry over it because of my massive respect and admiration for Jurgen Klopp, Michael Edwards and the owners. I mean, the owners aren't perfect, don't get me wrong, I'm not an FSG fucking massive advocate here, but I just try and call things as I see them. Typical cop-eye. As in what, dickhead? Typical cop-eye what? Winning 6 European Cups? Yep, that's typical cop-eye. 18 league titles? Yep, typical cop-eye. Being fucking boss? Yep, typical cop-eye. So what exactly, Prisma, is your dumb ass trying to say? Come on, come out and say it, dickhead. If you've got something to say other than typical cop-eye, say it. Other words, mate, quite frankly, you're fucking boring me and your banter is awful. Mods, come on. You need to get rid of people like that. I trust Klopp, but also there's a history of stubbornness with him too. Big gamble not to be strengthening this season. If we lose against Norwich, is it concerning me? Yeah, of course. Jesus, yes. Excuse me for any religious people watching there. Yeah, definitely. Would concern me massively. You don't want to lose the first game of the season. Would concern me for a couple of reasons. One, we've been unbeaten at home in 2 years in the Premier League. To lose that on the opening day of the season against Norwich would be a little bit frustrating, I'm not going to lie. But I don't think we will. I think we will beat Norwich, to be fair. And on that, we're recording a podcast tomorrow, myself, Cash Boyle and Dave Henry, around the start of the season, around the Norwich game, around the transfer window. So I'm not sure when that one will be out, but we'll get it out as soon as we can. We're recording it tomorrow evening. Subi said, apparently the guy I told you about from Besiktas has been seen at Melwood. Yes, I posted up a picture, buddy, on the Anfield Agenda account. Sorry, again, Cash has messaged me saying, what's all this pin tweet business? I don't know. I have no idea what this pin tweet business is. People got on about Liverpool again, I think. Is it that they've removed their pin tweet? Yes, Subi, some people believe that's Adrian, mate. Some people believe it is the Turkish guy you spoke about, and some people believe it might be just a fella that works in Melwood. But either way, it's fun to have a chat about it, isn't it? And to wonder. Yasar said, Coutinho will be better than any midfielder we have and will destroy City. Is Coutinho better than any midfielder that we have? I suppose it depends in the context we're talking about midfielders, mate. He's a great player. I'm not going to lie and say Coutinho isn't a wonderful footballer. He is. But he also made his bed. He also fucked us over. And he looks like he's not going to be coming back near Liverpool. So, yeah, Coutinho, hey. Callum reckons it's Neves. And a couple of people have made that shout. But I honestly don't think the club would be naive enough, or Wolves wouldn't lose their minds if Liverpool put out a picture of Ruben Neves sitting in Anfield. Or Melwood, I should say, sorry. Yeah, I think Wolves would have something to say about that. I think their fans would have something to say about that. But still doesn't stop the fun and the banter, as you said, about saying, oh, it's a Ruben Neves. I said that about 10 times and you read the other dude. Said what, mate? What are you saying? See, you've just repeated yourself without saying what you actually said. And if you want to gather my attention, mate, a good trick, lash an L emoji at the end of it. Because I'm like a magpie. I see shiny things and I just be led to the comments. Can't be Adrian, surely, said big guy Jur. I didn't think it was Adrian first glance, mate. I got to be honest, I didn't think it was. Evan Trainer said, hey man, if you were to sign 3 players, who would they be? I would sign a backup fullback, I'm not going to lie. Who that would be depends on who's happy to sit on the bench. Give me Chilwell. Give me Tierney from Celtic, to be fair. Who else would I sign? I would sign an attacking midfielder. So you can add in your Bruno Fernandes, you can add in your Ziyech, you can add in your Jadon Sancho's. I mean, whoever the hell you want. And then, well, he's more of a wide attacking player, isn't he? Then you could Christian Eriksen. I'd take him as well, by the way. Son as well from Spurs. I'd have him. I would also take Timo Werner, Kylian Mbappe. I mean, that could give you a longer list, mate. But yeah, we're just sitting here playing Fantasy Premier League basically because it doesn't look like the Reds are going to be doing much. Pierce replied to a tweet saying that he doesn't see it happening. Which one is that, Owen, mate? Which transfer is that's not happening? Storm Thomas said, good morning from Mongolia. Craig, I believe January transfer windows will be when Klopp will get depth. Excuse me. Firstly, mate, if you're genuinely in Mongolia, wow, nice. I think that's the first person I remember messaging us from Mongolia. So welcome, great to have you with us. Thank you for the comment. January's a bit of an iffy month. It's one that Klopp isn't the biggest fan of, but another thing about January is, right, so if Klopp, and he has done business in January, we've seen with Virgil van Dijk, so we're not going to just dismiss January, but you need to get a player then that will be ready to get up to speed quickly. Because if you're bringing somebody in January and Klopp goes through his usual methods of taking 8 to 10 weeks to get a player fully fit and Klopp all ready to start, then January kind of might bring you a bit of a headache. You're almost looking to the following season, unless you're buying somebody that's, you know, Premier League proven. But I'm willing to give that the benefit of the doubt, mate, at the minute, because we're all a little bit disheartened, I think, with the way the window's going, but still full of belief at the same time. Rufus said, I want Havertz. I can understand that, mate. What I've read, and again, just what I've read, is that he seems to be going to be doing one more season at Leverkusen and then Bayern Munich. By the looks of it, but things can change quickly in football. John Mack said, Coutinho is spineless. He can keep dreaming if he wants back. Right, I said a little bit on on Ryan Kent earlier on. So Liverpool have apparently put a price tag of £10 million on Ryan Kent. Now, this price tag seems to have varied over the summer, if the truth be told. I've seen 7 million, I've seen 12 million, I've seen 15 million. But the one that I read today in the Echo is a report that Liverpool want £10 million for Ryan Kent and that the winger could leave before the transfer window closes on Thursday. Liverpool have been linked, or Leeds have been linked, with a move for the Liverpool youngster. But the report does go on to say that Liverpool will keep Ryan Kent if the fee isn't met and that they're not willing to sanction a loan deal. And I think that is partly because of what Ryan Kent said as well about the fact that he's at a point in his career where he just wants to know where his future is. He just wants to know, will I be a Liverpool player? If not, I don't really want another loan somewhere because I want to put down roots. And I respect that about the kid. If Liverpool want to keep him, great. If they get to 10 million and they move him on, that's fair as well. Ryan Kent has to go and protect his career, and if Klopp has had a conversation with him and said, look mate, if the right amount of money comes in, we're going to move you on, I wish him all the best. But I also respect the club's position of not just constantly loaning out as well. So 10 million, as I said, the Echo reported, seems to be the fee for Ryan Kent. To lose Kent and Wilson in one window and not bring anybody in, I'm getting even a little bit more nervous. We could be out of the running by January. We won't be, Martin. Come on. At the same point, mate, there's a lot to be said. I know we've talked some negatives on the stream, but there's a lot to be said for consistency and having that same squad as well and not losing anybody, and these players getting used to each other more and more and getting another pre-season under the belt together and getting that wavelength. I mean, some of the stuff that you see between Mo and Firmino, for example, it just lets you know that they know. They have each other figured out at this moment in time. Some of the interplay and 1-2s between those guys against Man City was sensational. So it's not all negatives, mate. We still have a very, very strong squad, and we're not going to be out of contention by January, in my humble opinion anyway. Ibrahim said we don't need a world-class midfielder, potentially have two in Oxlade-Chamberlain and Naby Keita. Fully with you, absolutely. For an attacking intent, I should say, to have those two guys as options in the squad is brilliant, and if both can stay fit, I think they will have a massive impact on our season, because they both add something to our midfield that we were lacking at times last year. So it's a really good shout, mate. Look, ladies and gentlemen, where are we? We 550 people watching the stream at this moment in time. As you can see, we're about 240 subscribers away from hitting that magical 20,000. If you are watching and you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, if you could do me one massive favour, and please just hit that subscribe button and help us reach that target, it would be very much appreciated. On this channel, we do nightly live streams, we do watch-alongs of every Liverpool game, we do podcasts as well, and a few other bits and pieces along the way, and now we do have our Fancy Premier League show as well, I should say. And on Thursday we'll be starting our Football Index show, so keep an eye out for that. Lots and lots of stuff coming up. Sorry, I'm just fucking around with some stuff here on my screen. Where is it? Connor must look at me at times and go, Jesus mate, just stop pressing buttons, but I'm constantly distracted like a magpie. We don't need a world-class midfielder. I've done that one. Think we'll see Firmino's best this season, said Neil. I hope so, mate. I love Bobby Firmino. He's my favourite player at the club, and I've spoken time and time again about what he brings to this team. Aidan Andrews said Coutinho was at Liverpool, wanted to leave and did so. Bye-bye. Do you think we deserve to win the Community Shield, and can we beat City during the season? Asked Bradley McIntosh. Do I think we deserve to win it? I think City shaded the first half. I think we were pretty dominant in the second half, but we didn't win it, so we didn't deserve to win it. I know where you're coming from. I think overall we probably were the better team, but at the end of the day it was 1-1 and we lost on penalties. But it did bode well for the season ahead, yes. It did make me think that we can get at Manchester City. And they're an excellent side. There's no denying that. But yeah, I'm full of confidence. Sadio to come back as well. Obviously Manchester City weren't at full strength. Both teams still getting their fitness ahead of the season as well. But yeah, we can definitely compete, mate. Remember, we only lost one game last season, and that was to Manchester City, and that was by the smallest of margins as well. So razor tight at the minute. Niall, all I want is Fernandes. Gallo Fernandes, the next Bernardo Silva. He'll win us the league if we get him. He's the reason we He's the reason we win. Swap Lovren, Karius Kent, everybody, and the 30 million. You're not alone, mate, in wanting Bruno Fernandes. There's a lot of Liverpool fans who've been wanting him. A lot of United fans as well. A lot of Spurs fans. Sick of everybody expecting signings. Is it Gossier? Excuse me if I mispronounced that one, mate. Said it seems like everybody forgot the millions we spent last season and the stadium improvements. We bag out City for overspending, yet you demand more money spent. You've raised a good point, mate. And it's what Jurgen Klopp has kind of said as well. We have to pay our bills. And look, I'm not even going to pretend to know the ins and outs of football finance. There are other people that pretend to have that information. And that absolutely is a dig at who you think it is a dig at, by the way, as well. Mr. fucking Billy Big Bollocks. But yeah, you're right. We did spend a lot of money. But I do think we have money. I'm not going to sit here as well and say that we're broke. I think that with the money that we brought in from the television revenue and other sources, that there probably is money there. But at the same time, it's about spending it wisely and not just for the sake of it. Keita's like Modric. He's going to settle in, said ST Tricks. Worst case scenario, we lose two of the front three for a long period. We're left very stretched, said Martin Gillespie. I wonder, will we see a change of formation if that were to happen? Would we perhaps go to 4-2-3-1 or something like that? Craig, in your fantasy football league. What's this, Craig? I'm in your league. Good for you, mate. Welcome in, Anthony. Best of luck. I'm going to be terrible at it as always. City have signed Cancelo, 28 million plus Danilo, said English Mastiff. We kind of all knew that one was coming. For me, the whole thing around Manchester City will depend on Leroy Sané. If they keep hold of him, then I think they will. I will say they've strengthened this window because they brought in Rodri, Cancelo. But if they lose Sané and having lost company as well, I'm calling that scratch basically for Manchester City in my head, and maybe even a slight minus. But that's just me. If they keep hold of Sané and they brought in Rodri and Cancelo, then they've strengthened in the window, no doubt about it. Great teams add to what they have. They don't settle, said Rule. So, yes, to an extent, you're right, Rule. You do add one or two bits of magic. But how do we know that at the end of the season, and I'm playing devil's advocate here, how do we know that we won't be sitting back going, wow, Harvey Elliott, that kid, how much has he saved us? Who would have thought he would have had the impact that he's had? Or that Sepp Vandenberg or Keanu Hoover step up when we have an injury to one of our back four and come in and absolutely play a blinder, and we have another Trent Alexander-Arnold on our hands. We're clever, Raoul, is what I'll say, in how we've gone about our business. I don't think we have settled. We're still adding. We're just not adding another Firmino, another Mane, another Salah, another superstar. But as I said, mate, there has to be a reason for that. It's not stupidity from Klopp and the club. Gareth said, Craig, I think the Super Cup will take more seriously. So do I. Super Cup, mate, I'm expecting us to go and beat Chelsea, if I'm being quite frank about it. I'm expecting us to go and try and win the World Club Championship as well, because it's a trophy that we haven't won. And it is going to be intriguing. I mean, it all comes out to Friday night. Premier League kicks off on Friday. Liverpool against Norwich. A game that we will, of course, be doing a watch along of here on the channel. I'm so happy the football's back. I mean, it's great to talk transfer news. It's great to do this, that and the other. But at the end of the day, we're here for the football. And it starts on Friday. Do we have the players that can break down deep line defences, as it seems that's always been a problem? It wasn't a problem last year. Not at all. That's sorry to give you such a blunt answer, mate, but that was the older Liverpool of the teams where the likes of Burnley would sit back and defend against us, but we beat all those teams last season. So I don't think it is really an issue anymore. A lot of our attacks come from wide areas these days. Now, we could do with some more goals from midfield in this season. I definitely agree with that. I don't think we've added enough goals from midfield last season at all, but I don't think... Maybe an example, perhaps, if we were to play a team with a deep line midfielder, and we've heard Klopp mention the whole maybe Lallana in the 6 role, well, I think it would be in that kind of a game where a team does sit back and we do need that extra spark. And we know we don't need another defensive midfielder or any defensive midfielder. So maybe then we're going to pile an extra man into attack, and that's where Lallana comes in to keep things ticking over like that. But I think the days of low block teams, I think we're finding ways around it, mate. Whether it be the set pieces, for instance, whether Van Dijk's popping up with a goal, Matip's popping up with a goal, whether we're pulling the ball back from the byline in wide areas. Sometimes an L shot from distance can help as well, but I don't think it's as much of a problem as it was previously. And sometimes when we played these low block teams, I'll use Coutinho as an example now. We used to see a lot of pot shots, and people remember Coutinho's worldies because he scored a fair few of them, to be fair. People remember Harry Wilson last year scoring a lot of goals from distance for Derby County, but there's also a lot of times in my memory where I remember screaming at Coutinho for taking shots from distance when there was better options on. So I suppose it's a little bit of a mixture of everything, mate. It's a bit of being able to break down low block teams. It's a bit of being able to dictate play. Sometimes it's about getting an early goal as well, and that first goal in the game can be so important. We made $250 million off TV in the Champions League alone, said Crick. Yeah, 251 million I think was the the amount. What we have is fine. I just want Fernandes, said Niall Shaw. If I was the manager of another team, Firmino would be the player I'd want. The best link man in the league, makes tons of room for Mane and Salah, creative and knocks in a few goals. Mate, I'm with you happily, eggs. I love Bobby Firmino, and he does everything that you've said there and more. Can Big Verge be our plan C in the last few minutes? Damn right he can. We've seen what Verge can do in the box, and Joel Matip as well. Hagler or Triple G? That's very difficult. I mean, Marvin Hagler was before my generation. Dara, I don't really remember much of him, mate. Gennady Golovkin, I love, but there's too much to go through, mate, to get into boxing on this stream. There's just so much news. You know I love talking boxing, Dara, but for this one, mate, I don't think we're going to be able to have a chance because people will go mad, mate. There's just too much transfer stuff to talk about. Coutinho going to Arsenal, I thought, said Darren Calvin. Moves quickly, Darren, mate. It's looking like possibly Spurs at this moment in time. Or United. Don't rule out United, as I've said. Keep an eye on that one. I hope to God it doesn't happen, though. Which other clubs are competing in the Club World Cup? I don't know. Whoever won is it the Copa Libertadores or whatever the South American version is? I don't know the teams, mate. Is it River or Boca? One of them won it, didn't they? What problem do you think we had against City that we need to improve on? The first half performance, we were too slow. Second half performance, I thought was near perfect. Obviously, Raheem Sterling had a very good chance to make it 2-0 and fucked it up. But a little bit of good goalkeeping by Alisson Becker, a little bit of good defending by Van Dijk, but ultimately Sterling shit the bed. Midfield in the first half wasn't productive enough for me. De Bruyne got a little bit too much of the ball for my liking. It's very difficult to pick through that game because both managers will make changes. Both managers will probably want to be a little bit more on the front foot when we play. Although to be saying that, didn't Manchester City came to Anfield last year and pretty much sat back. I think second half, just go like we played in the second half. You can't sit back and allow City to dictate the game. You have to go at them and try and unnerve them, dispossess them, press them high. But the danger there is that City are one of the few teams in the world that can pass around a high press. And if they get space in midfield and they get runners, they get Salah, they get Sterling, they get De Bruyne, they get Silva running at you in space in midfield, they can tear you apart as well. So I suppose it's about getting that very fine balance between penning them back enough, pressing them enough, and then showing them enough respect at the same time. Glad I'm not in charge, put it that way. Glad I don't have to sit down and work this out. Right, what else have we got? Spurs might join the title race this year if they get very lucky in terms of injuries, said Tom Jones. They've definitely looked like to be doing some good business, Tom. Might get the Xmas lights out and set some traps, said Shankly Spirit. Loads of people talking about the guy Tokos or whatever his name is. Jack there has said that he signed for Liverpool. I don't know if he has, mate. I know that there's the image doing the rounds and we have it on our own account that looks like he's sitting at Anfield or sitting at Melwood, but the truth is I genuinely don't know. Unless it's been announced by the club, I would take everything with a massive pinch of salt in regards to transfers. City played half a team of backups to start the game and dominated, said Rule. You seem to be in a really negative mood today, Rule, mate. What's wrong with you? The game ended 1-1. We dominated the second half, they dominated the first half. I mean, we didn't have our strongest team either, mate. I think it's fair to say. We're both missing players. Silva is decreasing. I don't know what that means, Callum. What happens when we start tiring? This year we seem to have some tough fixtures in January. That's where the sports scientists, mate, and Klopp's fitness earn their money. Those guys that are that's why the hard yards have been put in now in pre-season to get those levels of fitness up. But it is going to be a difficult December, as you said, and it is going to be a draining January. And this is why many of us would have liked an addition or two. I mean, we can keep going around in circles. We're all on the same boat here, I think. I don't think there's any Liverpool fan out there who doesn't think we could have done with an addition or two. I think it's just a matter of how you look at it. Are we willing to give Klopp all the benefit of the doubt? Are we going to lose our mind over it? Are we frustrated at what other clubs are doing? And there's valid conversations and valid points to be had from all of you. What's your starting 11 for the Premier League this season for Liverpool? Again, depends on the opposition. We'll use Norwich as an example. I'm dropping Sadio straight in, as I've said. So I will go Alisson, Trent. Do you know I'm going to give Matip the start over Gomez for Norwich because I was very impressed with how he played when he came on against City. So Matip, Van Dijk, Robertson, Fabinho. After that it gets complicated. I'll go Gini and Keita, and then I go with the front three. But you can also easily make an argument there for Henderson and Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. But that'll be my starting 11 for the first game. We gonna loan out Harvey Elliott? No, I believe the plan for him, Mike, is for him to be in and around the first team, challenging, which is good news. It is. I think it's good news anyway. And the few bits we've seen of young Harvey Elliott, he looks full of confidence. Absolutely looks like there isn't any weight on those shoulders of his, and that he's quite happy to get the ball down and run at people. And more of that, please. I feel sorry for Klopp having his hands tied by the owners. Oh, you're one of them. Where's the fucking proof, mate? Where's the proof? Do you think Klopp is such a bitch that he'd just sit there and take this shit if he was unhappy? Do you think that he wouldn't be having words with the owners? Do you think that he would have signed that contract extension that kept him at the club for 7 years if he was having his hands tied by the owners? It's not true, mate. I'm sorry. I know you're looking for someone to blame here, and I know you're frustrated, but to say you feel sorry for Klopp having his hands tied by the owners, it's just bullshit, quite frankly, mate. Sorry. Who do I think is going down this year? Sheffield United, Brighton, and I don't think Villa will. I think they'll stay up. Norwich, perhaps, although I do like Norwich. Yeah, that's the three I'd guess at. But again, the last 36 hours or so of the transfer window could help determine what happens there. We should go for Eriksen, said Benjamin. I agree, mate. I absolutely agree. I think Christian Eriksen would be fantastic for us, and the fee seems to be around 50 million, I think. 1 year left on his deal at Spurs. A player who, as an Irishman, I've seen firsthand tear Ireland apart in the playoffs for Denmark, and we know he's Premier League proven quality as well. And if he goes to a rival, it'll be strengthened. If he stays at Spurs, it'll be like keeping them strong. So yeah, I can't disagree. Somebody I wouldn't mind either. There's so many players we could name that I'd go, yeah, he'd work. Coutinho, yep, he'd work. Dybala, yep, he'd work. Eriksen, yep, take him as well. I think August will be a really tough test. Southampton, Arsenal, Burnley away, all tough games. Said Adam Parks. Yeah, it's a tough league, but do you know what? I wouldn't have it any other way, mate. I can't fucking wait. I cannot wait for the season to start. Again, ladies and gents, 235 subscribers to go to 20k. If you're enjoying the stream, please do give us a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Again, want to give a shout out to bloodhusky.com as well, who are sponsoring our Fantasy Premier League. If you want to go over, check out bloodhusky.com, and there's a couple of t-shirts around that you want to treat yourself to. Just put in Anfield Agenda 10 in the code and that'll get you 10% discount. And they're also going to give away the manager of the month. So whoever's winning the Fantasy Premier League each month, whoever's top, will receive a t-shirt with thanks to our friends at bloodhusky.com. So thank you to them. Again, a couple of days left in our competition on our Twitter account. With thanks to footy.com, we're giving away this year's Liverpool home shirt. So if you're on Twitter and you've already subscribed to our account, or even if you haven't and you're on Twitter, get over there, check it out at Anfield Agenda, have a look at our pinned tweet. All you have to do is retweet that, make sure you're following us, make sure you're following footy.com, and that shirt will be given away after the Norwich game on Friday, and it's open to anybody anywhere in the world. Right, what else have we got, ladies and gents? We've still got quite a while to go on the stream, so keep your comments coming. I've Jota up front in your fantasy team, said Mossy. Nice. Why are Liverpool acting like they don't have a pot to piss in? What's happened to our profits? Don, mate, my thought is that we're looking to do big business next year, and that we're working on something long term that we can't get over the line this summer. That's my thoughts on it, but everybody will have their own thoughts, mate. Maguire, in my view, is worth 50 million. It's just the Premier League tax that bumped him up to 80, said Divock. Why do people think we've gone backwards due to signings? We won the Champions League only 2 months ago, and do people not think that these players will just grow, develop and get better? Yes, Ian, I get you. There's a lot to be said for continuity. I've said that as well. I mean, Jose Mourinho, somebody who I never like to give any credit to, well, he came out and spoke about the time where he kept that Porto team together after they beat Celtic and won the Europa League and then went on and won the Champions League. He said that his biggest accomplishments there were keeping that group of players together, because the more they played together, the more they got to know each other, the better that they got, and the more the camaraderie grew amongst the group. And we can't underplay that. There's a lot to be said for that as well. Luke said Blood Husky looks well cool, Craig. They really do have some nice clobber, mate. They do have some really nice t-shirts. Craig, you know Liverpool t-shirt giveaway, you should tape 6p on 1p coins because of 6 times. Okay, fair enough. There you go. Joseph said big up the Blood Husky Reds sale on. There you go. Check them out, bloodhusky.com. Joe has a sale on. 10% still count, Joe, on the sale. They buy 2 t-shirts. Anfield Agenda 10 still get 10% off. What else we got? Are we paying installments for Van Dijk and Alisson? Or are we paying in installments for Van Dijk? No, I believe the fee for Van Dijk had to be paid up front. I don't know about Alisson. But it's not unusual for football clubs to pay fees over the course of a contract over 3 or 4 years. It's not unusual at all. It's usually just when somebody has a buyout clause or something that you have to go and pay the full amount up front. Have I talked about Wilson to Bournemouth? I have, time crisis, mate, but happy to go back over it if you'd like. Confirmation that Wilson has joined Bournemouth on a season-long loan, and important to point out as well that the Echo said that there is no option to buy in that deal for Bournemouth. So I think that's good news. Good news for him, good news for us to sit back and see how he develops as a footballer in the Premier League. But I absolutely also understand the shouts to say, well, if we think he's a Premier League player, why aren't we keeping him here? What happens? I don't know. And I don't know the ins and outs about any clauses that we could call him back at specific points during the season or anything. I don't know. Maybe somebody else has more information on that one. Darshan said our midfield is loaded. We should look at backup fullbacks, in my opinion. I 100% agree with our midfield. Spoke about this last night, mate. It's one area of the field where I think we've got enough bodies. We've got Fabinho, Henderson, Milner, Gini, Keita, Lallana, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. Who else am I forgetting about here? I know I always forget one or two. Sheridan Shaqiri. I said Keita, didn't I? So like there's 7-8 players there for 3 positions. So yeah, we're absolutely sound in midfield. Mane can make history versus Norwich, said Callum. How? How so, mate? I always love a bit of history, so please do let me know. What Benfica player were we going to buy but didn't and put us out in the Champions League? Samuel Sabrosa, I believe the gentleman's name was. I was at that game where they beat us 2-0, I think it was at Anfield. It was my wife's first game watching Liverpool. It was Samuel. Never forget that dude. We were linked to him. He was actually on a plane, or just about to get on a plane to come over to get that transfer done, and Benfica called it off right at the last minute. Would you say, hang on, who would you say would do better, Jolinton or Keane? If this is a fantasy question, mate, I'm shy at it. This is defo not the right person to ask. If I'm picking one, I'd probably say Keane. I think they'll probably score more goals. Everton will. But look, I'm shy at fantasy, so I'm probably not the best person to ask. I really want to see Wilson do well in the Premier League, said is it Geyser? I'm so sorry. I hate mispronouncing people's names, but it is difficult for an old Irish fella at times on here trying to pronounce some of these beautiful names. Have I heard Dybala to Spurs? Yes, Jay Cartman 12. Somebody mentioned it earlier on, mate. What was the fee? 70 million, something like that. It is around the time of night as well where the journals put their stories out, and of course with tomorrow being the last full day of the Premier League transfer window because it closes down on Thursday at 5 p.m, I'm expecting it to be a manic 36 hours. Got rid of Lallana and brought in Fernandes, said David Newell. Didn't pick Zaha because his future's up in the air, said Mossy. We need a proper goal-scoring midfielder, said Danny Kinsella. Any suggestions, buddy? Anyone in mind? Anyone you'd like to see? Fernandes, maybe? We could get that goal-scoring midfielder, though, mate, from Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain or Naby Keita this season. I know I'm being a bit optimistic, but I am. I back the two guys. Naby has that in his game. He can play on the front foot. He knows where the goal is. We've seen firsthand Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain how devastating he can be when he's on song. I don't know. I'm on the fence with this window. I have to say, I really am. Very happy we've kept everybody. I can't underplay how important that is, but at the same time, I never thought we wouldn't have made what we would class as a first team, a fighting for the first team signing. It is a little bit frustrating. I think it is frustrating. I think it just comes down to trust, patience, and wait and see how we get off. I mean, if we hit the ground running and we start winning games and the squad's looking great and we're not picking up injuries, the vibe's completely different. But it's also important to remember here, as people have pointed out, we've won the motherfucking Champions League only back in May. We are the reigning champions of Europe, ladies and gentlemen. Possibly going to become the best team in the world in when the World Club Championships is on. But as things stand, we're back-to-back Champions League finalists. 97 points in the Premier League last season, unbeaten at home in 2 years, lost one game all season last year, full-backs breaking all kinds of records, 2 winners of the Golden Boot, Salah back-to-back winners of the Golden Boot, Jurgen Klopp working absolute wonders, wonderful new main stand, Wonderful new training facility coming at Kirkby. There's lots to be positive about. I mean, this is a transfer window. That's all it is. We won't remember this in a few months' time, hopefully. We won't remember sitting here feeling a little bit frustrated, because hopefully we'll be doing bits in the league and we'll be doing really well. I always like to try and be optimistic, but I do understand people being a bit frustrated. I get you. Escapado said, I'm wondering if there's a late bid for Timo Werner now that Wilson's gone on loan. I don't know, mate. I'm afraid to say I hope so or yes, because I don't want to get anybody's hopes up. I don't want to give false hope to anybody, and at the same time I don't want to piss all over anybody's cornflakes either. Bruno Fernandes, only young too, scores goals, good work rate to fit in with Klopp's style, said Danny. Yeah, I can see the attraction to Fernandes, mate. No, I'm not going to lie, I've said all along I didn't watch too much of him last year. I mean, I didn't see too much of Sporting, so it's only been clips and the few bits I've seen of him playing for Portugal. But he does look like a baller. He does look like a good player. We're going into this season with a full roster of players and no injuries. Queeveen Kelleher has an injury to his wrist, although look, he's a backup keeper. Kleiny, of course, out with an ACL, but would he have moved on anyway? I don't know. Other than that, I think we're pretty much injury free, mate. Milner at the minute, he missed the Community Shield because of a tight muscle, so that was just a precaution. But yeah, other than that, I think we're pretty much at full strength. Maddison would be great, but they're not going to let him go now. Yeah, look, he would be. He's a very good footballer, James Maddison. But as you've said, Darkness, mate, Leicester have just got in a chunk of money from selling Slabhead. Yeah, they're not going to want to lose him as well in this window, and they won't need to financially. Red Hulk said he's an hour behind but hopes to catch up to the live chat soon. It's great to have you in with us again, buddy. It's pronounced Kirby. Okay, I mispronounced a fucking word. Jesus Christ, mate. Are you this much of a dickhead all the time? Honest to God. It's pronounced Kirby, mate. Okay, fair enough. Hang me. Jesus Christ. My God, you must... Do you know what? I'm fucking sick of you. You can just fuck off. Honestly, I couldn't be arsed dealing with you. It's pronounced Kirby, mate. It's pronounced band. We should be jumping for Dybala. He's available, said Shanzo. What's this? Who else have we got in here? One sec. Raoul, how are we, sir? Said, I just want some more silverware. To battle on all fronts, we need players all around. Thanks for the trophy link. I'm going to buy the full size one. Oh, nice. Yeah, it is lovely. I wish I could have afforded the full size one, mate, but at the moment I couldn't have. But you know what? Little 60 is quite nice as well, and you're very welcome. And thank you for the super chat, mate. Always a pleasure. Still holding out for Son. Lots of movement at Spurs, said Jay Cartman. Not will be winner first 4 games. Peter Van der Shan. Sané won't be out for long. Is he going to be sold though? That's what I wonder with Sané. I just can't see why they'd sell him though. Spurs can't agree a deal for Dybala, can't agree terms with him. It just seems like, mate, if that is the case, Andy, and I don't know if it is or not, mate, it just seems like he's digging his heels in to stay at Juventus, isn't it? He's turned down United. If he's turned down Spurs, then it seems he just really must want to stay. Curtis Dalton said, Craig, with Hoover coming through nicely at right back and Trent Alexander-Arnold still young and brilliant, could Klopp cover Trent, or could Klopp convert Trent to midfield? He could do, and Trent has spoken about that himself, saying he's not sure exactly which position his future will lie in. But I'm going to borrow something that I've always borrowed when this conversation comes up, and that is a quote from Neil Atkinson of the Anfield Rap. I remember him saying before that it will come a point where Trent Alexander-Arnold and Jurgen Klopp need to sit down and have a conversation about whether Trent wants to go and become a very good midfielder, or whether he wants to go on and become one of the best, if not the best, right back in world football. And I think Neil Atkinson nailed it there when he said that. So for me, I'm keeping him at right back, and Keanu Hoover is just another great option to have, whether it be at centre back or right back. What else we got? The jersey we wore where Simone knocked us out was my favourite home shirt. It was the year after we won it in 05, said Shankly. Yeah, is that the Reebok one with the beautiful gold on it? I mean, I wouldn't have minded one of those this year, I have to say, Shankly Spirit. I've said that to my wife. A nice Champions League celebratory shirt with a bit of gold on it would be nice, wouldn't it? Although that World Club Championship badge would be pretty sexy as well. Spurs won't sell Son, said Adam Phillip. I agree with you, Adam. I don't think they will, mate. I think he's a wonderful footballer, though, and exactly the type of player that could slot into our team seamlessly. What else we got? I've been on this stream from the start. I see it grow. Good job, lads, said Alan Byrne. Thank you so much, mate. I'm amazed that the stream has grown to where it is, Alan. But it's because of the support that we've received from wonderful people like yourself who have been here for so long and kept coming back and kept adding to the chat. And we appreciate that so much. As I've said before, we are trying our best to get to 20k. So if you're watching, you're liking it, please do hit that subscribe button. But for everyone that has been with us from the start, or whether you've just joined us recently, I just want each and every one of you to know that, look, we have banter on here. I take the piss out of people. I call people idiots, tell them to fuck off. But underneath it all, we love each and every one of you and the time that you give to this channel. We know you could watch anything. There's so many bleeding channels you could watch. The fact that you're on here with us means the world to us. So we love each and every one of you. As I said, thank you so much for your continued support. It's a pleasure to be able to come on here and talk with Reds every night. Wow, £20 super chat from Owen Curtis. I think that's one of the biggest ones we've ever received on the channel, mate. Oh, there's a joke in there somewhere, isn't there? Hello, Sailor. Right, so if we can beat Norwich and then win the Super Cup, it'll give the squad a big boost, and once again the feeling of winning the Champions League will help us fly in this season and hopefully push us to new heights. Allez, allez, allez. Conquer all Europe, Owen. That's what I'm saying. But no, as you've said there, Owen, winning breeds winning, and winning becomes a habit. So Liverpool to have gotten the monkey off their back last year of losing finals will help. It will let these guys know that they can get over the line. And I mean, I'll just draw everybody's attention back to that Barcelona game. Honestly, think back when we lost that first game 3-0. It wasn't a 3-0 game. We deserved better, but the result was 3-0. So we're going back to Anfield. And I remember speaking to Connor and Brian that morning and saying, I don't know what it is, lads. It just feels like something. I don't know. This must be nonsense, but it just feels like something could happen. And I had a conversation with a load of people on Twitter as well, and we all thought, if you can score early and we beat Barcelona on the night, we will salvage some pride. But if we score early and go in at half time, 1-0 up, anything's possible. Little did we know the belief, mentality monsters, to quote Jurgen Klopp, and to give a plug to Paul Tompkins' fantastic book. These guys are made of stern stuff, ladies and gentlemen. You do not go and beat Barcelona with Lionel Messi, Philippe Coutinho, Luis Suarez, Jordi Alba. You don't go and beat them 4-0 at Anfield without having something about you and without having mental toughness. And as you've rightly said, Owen, winning will help. It will help the lads this season. They will feel like they're on top of the earth, and they will feel like they can beat anybody, and they've proven that they can beat anybody. So thank you again for the super chat, mate. It's so very kind of you, and I agree with what you've said. Winning does breed winning, and I'm expecting more trophies this season from the Reds. Right, what else have we got? No way Spurs would sell Son to Liverpool. It'd be like shooting themselves in the foot. Exactly, but they could well sell Christian Eriksen to Manchester United, mate. Maybe that just proves that they don't look at United as a rival. Oh, shots fired. Just going to put my PJs on. Said Anthony, mate, you go do your thing. What's this? Mr. Crosby sending me a link. Connor sends me a link. I always get nervous. Oh, then he fucking says ignore this. Gets me all excited. I'm thinking there's a transfer happening, then says ignore this. Do I think Larouci is good? Asks Heather. Yes. I have to admit, a name that's just completely been sprung on me in pre-season. Going into this pre-season for the backup left-back situation, Heather, I firmly thought that we were looking at Adam Lewis, and I thought that he was going to be the one that would come in and do a job. But Larouci, and how fun is that name to say, by the way? But yeah, Larouci has come in and looked brilliant. I mean, those overlapping runs down that left-hand side, the pace and the power, the link-up play with Milner as well earlier on in pre-season in particular, I thought he looked very good. Defensively, like many young full-backs, he still has a little bit to work on, and he'll get there. But yes, I do think he looked very good, Heather. I was very surprised by how good he was. Adam Phillips said, I knew Spurs would still go through. 3-0 down to Ajax with 1 half to play. Again, 2 amazing nights of football, mate, wasn't it? Well, 3, I suppose, if you include Vincent Kompany's wonder strike to beat Leicester for Manchester City. Liverpool then win a 4-0, and then Spurs coming back against Ajax to book their place in the final. It was just a mad 3 nights of football. What else have we got? What do I think about us signing Adrian? Said Triple G Games, or GG Games I should say, excuse me mate. I think it's a good piece of business. We spoke about it a while back. A couple of people that tweeted, I'm not going to take massive credit, it's Jason Roberts being one of them, tweeted as well about if Mignolet were to move on, Adrian would be a viable option because his contract was going to be up at West Ham. So I think it's almost a like for like, but I definitely don't think we've weakened. I think it was a clever piece of business, and I don't think there was any need to go out there really and spend money or do much more. I think Adrian is perfectly capable. Is Eriksen coming to Real Madrid? Asks Rocky. I don't think so. I think they want Paul Pogba, and if they don't get Paul Pogba, Donny van de Beek seems to be the second choice for Madrid. Again, I don't know how that will work out, but that's what I've been reading anyway. Right, still some questions over, what's this? Larouche's defensive skills. Yeah, of course there is, mate. He's a young kid. We said the same about Trent Alexander-Arnold, and he'll improve. He'll get there. But my goodness, what a good young player he is. What's this about Madrid? Right, for those of you that are coming in late, really quickly, there was a story that did the rounds today, and I believe it started in Colombia. Could be wrong on this, but the story went that Real Madrid were very interested in taking Fabinho over to Madrid. Now, the story was quickly rebuffed by a load of people over here, and Rebecca Tavares, his good lady wife, came out with tweeting a gif basically saying, like, you know, rolling their eyes kind of thing, that it wasn't happening. And it isn't happening, but that's what it is about. There was a story linking Fabinho would have moved to Real Madrid, which, quite frankly, is just more nonsense. That isn't going to happen. I think for, what's his right back since Klein is out, go for Max Aarons. He's just signed a new deal, mate, I believe. Young Aarons. I think someone said that to me yesterday. He signed a new deal at Norwich. I think that's the kid that you're talking about. Klein would have been a very interesting situation because he had probably, we all believed he was going to move on. He'd been linked to Palace when they sold Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Then he'd been doing alright in pre-season, much like he had done when he played for us against United before he moved on. But then he picked up that ACL, and he's going to be at Liverpool till at least January, and even at that, proving his fitness to another club, then he'll probably be here for the season. So it is a strange one. I wouldn't have minded if he was fit. I honestly would have liked us to have kept Kleiny. Do you think Adrian will play against Norwich? No. It'll absolutely be Alisson. Adrian can't be as bad as Mignolet, so it's a good signing. I've never been Mignolet's biggest fan. I'm not going to, because he's gone, I'm not going to suddenly make out like he was the greatest thing since sliced bread. I respect him. He was a professional at the football club. He was here for 6 years, but he was never my favourite person as a player. Real Madrid like to start a rumour about wanting one player with a club coming in for another. Yes, they're absolutely... Them and Barcelona are masters at using the Spanish media, mate, to basically be their mouthpieces. Roberto said Spurs have 2 days to make Dybala have a change of heart. I was just saying earlier on, Roberto, it seems like Dybala really wants to stay at Juventus, and that Juve seem to be the ones trying to hoosh him out. Turn down United, as we've said. Rumours around a potential move to Spurs. As from your point, mate, being a Juve fan, I'd love to know your thoughts on this as well. And again, I want to take a second to give it a shout out to John Hamilton as well, who has been doing sterling work for us as a mod, and every time I mention Fantasy Premier League as well, I know John's there with the codes, so I just want to take a second, John, to say I didn't say it last night. It has been noticed, mate, and I do really appreciate you, as I do all the mods, of course, but John Hamilton in particular, mate, I know you've been lashing out the codes for Fantasy Premier League, buddy, so thank you so much. Really good looking out. Who would you rather have, Karius or Mignolet? Mignolet over in those two. Now, long term, if I'm buying in a goalkeeper, Karius is more value, of course, because he's younger. But if I'm putting one in game for one match, I'm probably going to pick Mignolet for that game. Roberto said Sky Italia reporting that the deal for Dybala is unlikely due to time. Although PSG, maybe, Roberto. Again, French window might have a bit longer, so I wouldn't rule that one out just yet. First Nickel, then Saunders, now Lawrenson talking tribe. Kev, please do fill me in, mate. And if you don't know what we're talking about regards to Saunders, earlier on during the stream I said, and this is true, you can look it up yourself, Dean Saunders, in his infinite wisdom, suggested that Liverpool could do worse than look at Wayne Rooney, because he'd be a good fit and he still has something to offer. No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. Especially not to Liverpool. I don't know what the Saunders was at, and I'm not sure what Kev's talking about with regards to Lawrenson, but I would like to know, so please do let me know. I still can't believe somebody was so fucking pedantic as to pull me up on the pronunciation of Kirby earlier on. I mean, seriously, I'm still baffled as to why. Surely Fabinho rumours complete rubbish. They are 100% rubbish. LFC Ireland, 100%, mate. Absolute horseshit of the highest order. There's more chance of this bald, overweight Irish fool signing for Real Madrid than there is of Fabinho in this window. It just ain't happening, pal. What else we got? Is who taking the piss? I don't know who you're talking about, Ellis Maitland-Price. Liverpool had an amazing season last year. I think it'll be a tough act to follow that up. It will, but I think we'll do it, mate. Lawrenson backing Klopp to sign Bale. Oh, fucking hell. Yeah, that's what we need. Another lad to come in on really heavy wages that's injury prone. That's what we need. Now look, Gareth Bale is a world class footballer, but we know he has too many injuries, and we know that we probably won't get the games that we need out of him on the money that he'd be on. I'm not knocking him as a footballer, but it's not the right move for Liverpool. Romelu Lukaku will go to Anderlecht. There is no way that Anderlecht are going to be able to afford the money that United are looking for Lukaku. Inter Milan can't afford it at the minute. Juventus want the deal done, obviously, but what are we talking, like 60 million, something like that for Lukaku? I don't think Anderlecht have that money. So a lot of older women in Derby for Rooney. Is it wrong, Peter, that I thought that earlier on as well? Honestly, I was thinking, I wonder will the brothels there, the granny brothels, do better business? But I don't know, mate. It is interesting that somebody else had the same thought as me. Who corrected Craig about Kirby? Was it Herbie with the Furby? I think it was a girl called Holly. I think maybe it was Holy something. I don't remember. Somebody that was just being really pedantic anyway. Can you imagine the meltdown at Goodison if Rooney signed for Liverpool? He's going to Derby, mate, as a player coach in January, I think, to work under Kaku. Real Madrid tried to nick my breakfast, said Luke. I don't blame them, mate. They probably put it out to 4 newspapers as well that they were going to try and nick Luke's breakfast, because they do like to talk to newspapers. Right, let me just check. So Timo Arioni, God, that's a name I didn't want to pronounce, but I think I did alright there. He has joined Jurgen Klopp's former club, Mainz, on loan until the end of the season. A lot of people believe he was going to move on permanently this year. I believe he signed a contract extension at the Reds in 2018. I think I read that in the Echo earlier on. So yeah, Teo Arioni has joined Mainz on loan for the season ahead. So good luck to him. Bit of interesting news on Franz Beckenbauer. I know it's not really Liverpool related, but I'm sure you guys have probably seen this. So Franz Beckenbauer has been accused of fraud by the Swiss Attorney General's office. The German legend is accused of paying Qatari former FIFA executive Mohammed bin Hammam £8.4 million before the 2006 World Cup. As I said, these are all accusations as things stand, and there is of course a legal process to follow, but I'm sick of stories about our game being fiddled and riddled and diddled by people over money, and bribery and jobs for the boys and dodgy dealings going on, and it needs to stop. These people are supposed to be looking after the game. Beckenbauer is such a legend of the game, German world football, the Kaiser, but to have this over his head, I hope it's not true. I genuinely do hope it's not true. But football's gotten so fucking seedy, particularly when it comes to the awarding of tournaments and stuff like that, that for the Swiss Attorney General's office to have excuse my phrase here, but to pull the trigger on that accusation it's not a good day for the sport again, ladies and gents, unfortunately. So do keep an eye on that one. As I said, Franz Beckenbauer being accused of fraud by the Swiss Attorney General's office. Apparently he's been accused of paying former Qatari FIFA executive Mohammed bin Hammam £8.4 million before the 2006 World Cup. These are of course all allegations that legal process will follow in due course. Liam Miller, young Canadian, has completed a season-long loan back to Kilmarnock, where he spent the second half of last season making 14 appearances for Killie. So Good luck to Miller and hope he does well there. Not somebody, honestly, that I think will end up with a future at Liverpool Football Club, and a second loan spell back to Kilmarnock doesn't bode well for me of somebody that we think will make it at the club. But look, that's just my opinion, and of course I wish Lee Miller all the best. Who do you think's the best backup for Mo that we can buy? Sancho. But we're not going to buy him in this window. But Sancho would be ideal. Yeah, that's or Mbappe, either of those. But my worry is, and I think I don't want to get this wrong, but I believe maybe Joel Rabinowitz, touched on this in his piece earlier on, where he said that we could be setting ourselves up for the future and the potential that one of our front three could leave down the line, and we could be looking to future-proof ourselves against that long term. So, yeah. Thank you for the question, by the way, mate. Sané to Bayern Munich, 137 million, and Oyarzabal from Real Sociedad, 68 million, latest rumours. So, the Oyarzabal from Sociedad, where is that to? English Mastiff, excuse me. Is that to Manchester City if they sell Sané to Bayern Munich? I don't think Bayern Munich are going to pay £137 million for Leroy Sané, by the way. I think that they said once €100 million was something that they wouldn't spend. So I don't know if they're just trying to play a bit of brinkmanship here. Joey said, going to give you a shout out on my community page. Usually gets about 100 likes per post on there. I've got 3k subs. Thank you, Joey. Appreciate that, mate. The more reds we can get on, mate, the better, and I appreciate any help that we can get. So thank you very much, Joey. Beckenbauer, why? Definitely in my top 5 defenders ever. As I said, mate, these are just at the moment accusations and nothing has been proven. So again, like anybody else in life, innocent until proven guilty. Sepp Blatter has a lot to answer for. Yes, look, there is corruption. Corruption is rife in football. That has to be said. We can't come on here and talk about this and not be honest about it. There's been too many things in recent years that have come up and ruined and tarnished the reputation of our sport. And the more money's involved, the more corruption there's going to be, and it's going to be very difficult for somebody to be able to go and wrestle this power away and actually make things as transparent as they probably need to be. Mignolet got a clean sheet tonight, said Curtis Dalton. Did he make his debut for Bruges? Nice one if he did. Didi Hamann is Mike Kaiser, said Brian Morrissey. Beckenbauer has always been something redacted. I don't know. I will go with a cunt, Brian. That's what you were trying to say. Sancho can play right wing and left wing, said Daniel Hogan. Dipping their hands in the till, said Peter van der Shans. Yeah, I mean, there's been a few more. I mean, do I remember correctly a story about what's his name's son getting a job over in Qatar or somewhere? Platini, I think, was his son given a job somewhere. Could be wrong on that one. If I am, I apologise, but I remember reading a story about that somewhere. La Liga president under investigation for betting fraud, said English Mastiff. It's just not great, mate. It's not a good look on the sport, is it? Always a great show. Gives a shout out. Hello. Is it Sinuous Records? Or Sinuous, excuse me. Sinuous Records. I do apologise and welcome in. Look, ladies and gents, we're 224 away from 20k. If you're enjoying this stream and you haven't subscribed, please do hit that button and give us a thumbs up as well, and let people know about us. And as our good friend up there earlier on said, he had a group that gets 3,000 people in, and he has a chat with them, and he's going to let them know about us. If you're in any groups, if you're on any forums, if you're on Facebook, because I ain't on Facebook, to be honest, so let people know about us. Let people know about the channel. The more reds we can get on, the better. Do I think Liverpool will sign anyone else in this transfer window? My head says no, my heart says yes. Double G games. Yeah, I know they removed the pin tweets. I know a lot of people were talking about that earlier on. A bit hopeful that we're going to do something. Politics has slipped into football and poisoned it. Yes, here, mate. Very well said. They say that they want to keep the two things apart. In fact, they go on to say that they don't want politics involved in football. Well, behind the scenes, it definitely is, mate. There's definitely been political leanings for certain decisions. So yes, well said, Crick. Liam Barr, how are you, mate? You want the shout out as well. How are you? Welcome. Thank you for the kind words. What else we got? Bet there's a lot of backhanders at the top end of the football tree, said Peter van der Shans. I can only imagine, mate. Happily Egg said the show was easy, the banter was great. Thank you, buddy. I know I'm not everyone's cup of tea, by the way. I know I'm a little bit blunt at times, but it is genuinely who I am. This is like what I'm like at home. This is what I'm like with my mates. I just call things as I see them, and I know sometimes I piss people off, and I'm not for everyone. I get that, but I enjoy it, and I think a lot of people seem to enjoy what we do. Right, about 10 minutes to go before we finish up tonight, ladies and gentlemen, so please do keep your wonderful comments coming. I just want to check my list of notes to make sure I haven't forgotten anything, because I usually do. No, nice. I'm through my notes anyway, so it's over to you, ladies and gents. My money is on Coutinho or Fernandes announcement tomorrow, said Steve. Steve, I have to hand it to you, mate. If ever there's never been a more enthusiastic transfer window person than you, buddy. We were on the Fekir bus together. The Dybala bus, probably. Now we're on the Fernandes bus. I mean, you're my type of bloke, Steve, so well in, mate. Love the positivity, but I think we're going to be disappointed, unfortunately, buddy. Hasn't Malcolm only just signed for Zenit? Yes, I believe he did, mate. I believe he left Barcelona. And there was a wonderful post, actually, from the Roma English account to wish him well and kind of make out like he was one of their players, because at one point he was very close. He was on the plane on the way over, if you remember, when it diverted towards Barcelona. I think his mother was even in Rome waiting for him. You going to do an all-day live stream and transfer deadline day? No, I won't, mate. If that happens, Liverpool related, I will come on and talk about it, but no, I've so much work on, and I need to take some time off soon, because this is my 9th day in a row, I think, that I've been doing at least one show since I've come back from holidays, and I need to start looking after myself and making sure I get a break as well. What do you think Klopp's plans are for Brewster? World domination, Charlie. And I mean that sincerely. I think Jurgen Klopp really rates Ryan Brewster. I'm going to go right back into Mohamed Salah getting his Premier League Player of the Year award, and Jurgen Klopp went out of his way to take a second to talk about Ryan Brewster, and that was going back, what, 2 seasons ago? Well, sorry, a season ago, full season ago. Yeah, and we fought really hard to keep him. A player who a lot of top clubs in Europe wanted to sign when he was available to sign his first professional contract. And Liverpool Football Club fought really hard to show him that there's a pathway here for him to get into the first team, and that there's belief of the club for him. And I think that will be repaid. He looks full of confidence. I can't wait to see him burst through this season. And I'm not expecting him to work miracles in this season, but I'm expecting an impact from him. What was the Juventus scandal? There was, I don't think it was just the Juventus scandal. I think it was throughout Serie A. Juventus were relegated. And to be fair to Juventus, they restructured, rebuilt, got their way back up, and now they're back at the top table of world football. But yep, there was some bribery scandals in the in Serie A at one point. What else have we got? Any highlights tonight, Mr. Boogsy? Not really, pal. Nothing that I can give you good news on anyway. As an Irishman, are you excited about Troy Parrott at Spurs? I'm absolutely baffled, Adam. I've said many times, me and international football don't really pay much heed to it whatsoever, mate. Any young Irish player, I hope does well wherever they are, at whatever club, because I like to see Irish people succeed, of course. I think Jones is a real prospect, said Crick. Interesting again to see what does happen with Curtis Jones. Reading a tweet right now, said Bobby Ball, Fernandes to Liverpool, 57.6 million. Where from though, Bobby? Do let me know, mate. Juventus laundering money scandal, said English Mastiff. I think there was a few things going around Italian football, mate, and I'm not qualified to speak about it, so I'll leave that to other people. Paul Turner said, Craig, the deluded Blue Noses think we're jealous of their new... What new stadium? They haven't fucking even put a spade in the ground yet. They haven't even taken so much as a amount of water, I should say, out of the fucking sea or river or wherever the fuck. What stadium? The Bramley Apple Pie in the Sky stadium that nothing has happened on yet, but a lovely new shiny video that they put out. Why would we be jealous? We have Anfield. We win Champions Leagues. We turn over Barcelona 4-0. We have nothing to be jealous about Everton for. For the city of Liverpool, it's a good thing, of course. And for the city of Liverpool, anything that benefits the great city of Liverpool is good with me, but we're not jealous. We will never be jealous of Everton Football Club in any way, shape or form. When you get to a point where You go to Liverpool 1 shopping centre, and the best that you can do to try and get one over in Liverpool is call your store Everton 2, because next door is Liverpool 1. And they think that in their own fucking hilarity, having their address as Everton 2, Liverpool 1 shopping centre as hilarious. I mean, that goes to show you, doesn't it? That's the best they can do. Right, what else we got? Owen Curtis, thank you for the super chat, buddy. Said Sky Italia saying that the Dybala fee has been agreed with Spurs, £64.4 million. I think Roberto said earlier on that it's the Dybala at his end, mate, that seems to be digging his heels in. Interesting stuff, though. It's going to be a mad last 36 hours in this window, isn't it? And thank you again for the super chat, Owen. I really appreciate it. Wow, mate, that's you with 25 quid tonight. That is so kind of you, mate. As I say many, many times, money's hard to come by for everybody. So anyone that does put in super chats or something, I just want you to know how much we do appreciate it. Yes, thank you. Right, what else we got? Somebody in the chat said they'd love the Qatar World Cup to be cancelled and moved. Do you think it's too late? It should never have been awarded there, in my opinion, Joanne, in the first place. Do I think it's too late? Yes, I do, because there's probably been travel booked, hotels booked, stuff built. But it shouldn't have been awarded there in the first place. It really shouldn't. I don't care what anybody else said. I think originally wasn't it supposed to have been air-conditioned stadiums in the summer, and then it was, can't do that. Now it's going to be moved to a Winter World Cup. It's just complete nonsense. It should never have happened. Dara, don't apologise for bringing up boxing, mate. You know I love to talk about boxing. God, I could talk about boxing for hours, buddy, but it's just with the window closed and people are getting a bit hectic, and there's loads to talk about. Kev's put the link in as well to our friends at Blood Husky. Do go check them out, bloodhusky.com. Enter the code AnfieldAgenda10 if you're buying 2 t-shirts or more, and you get a 10% discount. Right, and of course they're sponsoring our Fantasy Premier League as well, and Manager of the Month, or whoever's winning each month at the top of the Premier League table, will get themselves a free t-shirt from Blood Husky. Right, what else have we got? Roberto said, again guys, the Spurs deal hinges on the Dybala himself. If he still rejects and wants to stay at Juve, he won't go. Simple as that. Plus Spurs have to sort out the image rights issue. Yeah, transfers are complicated things these days. I get exactly what Roberto's saying. It's a lot to sort out in a 36-hour period. Give it to England, said Jay Cartman. It would definitely be more capable of hosting it, mate, without a shadow of a doubt. Shankly Spirit said, when I get paid I'll do a super chat. Mate, honestly, I don't want anybody under any pressure. As we said from day one on this channel, money is the furthest thing from our mind. If somebody does, I think it's just kind of us to say thank you, but don't ever feel any obligation at all, my friend. Poch gave Coutinho his debut at Espanyol. Yep, they have worked together. We did speak about this earlier on. What do I think of Coutinho joining Arsenal? Is it not more likely that he's going to Spurs? Haroon, I don't know. Arsenal or Spurs, either one, he can go fuck himself, with all due respect as far as I'm concerned. But look, he would strengthen either side, without a doubt, mate. If he goes to you lot, he'll have a really good attack, still have a shite defence, which I think is the reason why I don't know if you are really going for Coutinho or if you're trying to get a centre back in before the window closes, because you do need one, to be fair. And Tierney as well, you could do with him. You could do with some midfielders. I don't know why you're adding so many attackers, mate. It is weird, I have to say. I mean, it's like Liverpool of 5 or 6 years ago, where we had this really good attack and just kept leaking goals. But yeah, it's interesting. If I win the fantasy I'm in South Africa, what will happen? We'll give you a €100 voucher, mate. But if you're talking about you winning the month, this shirt will be posted out to you, as promised by Blood Husky, don't worry. But if you win the Fantasy Premier League, the winner of the main league is getting a €100 Liverpool store voucher. Second place 50, third place 25, and then the winner of the head-to-head league is getting a €75 voucher for the Liverpool Club store. And if you win both somehow, we'll give you a bonus 50. Do you think Eriksen will go to United? Possibly, Billsy, possibly. I know that there was talk earlier on in the window that he turned down the possibility of a move to United, but it doesn't look like there's been much, I won't say interest in him, because there probably has, but no concrete interest enough for people to start slapping 50 million down on the table. And United need a midfielder. Eriksen's a very good midfielder. United have a working relationship with Spurs. He has 1 year left on a Spurs contract. Pogba could move on, perhaps. Yeah, I could see it happening, Billsy. I'm not going to lie, mate. I could see it happening. What else we got? Ever seen the film Hurricane, mate? Denzel Washington, yes. Ruben Carter, yeah, very good film. Are the vouchers all in euros? Mate, look, we're in Ireland, so we'll buy €100 worth of whatever currency it is. That if you're English, we'll buy you €100 worth of sterling vouchers. If you're in South Africa, whatever it might be, mate. I mean, we're talking about pedantics here, you know, small little details. And even if they were in euros, you could still spend them, mate. Spurs said Ericsson for the Dybala swap deal. Again, interesting to see what happens there. As Roberto said before, it hinges on Dybala and whether he will allow himself to leave Juventus. It's got to be an interesting last 36 hours though, as we've said. Yeah, it definitely is. Right, as Roberto said, guys, please like and share the stream. Please do, and give us a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button. 220 to go. We're getting so close to 20k. My voice is starting to go. It's been a long night. I've been on with Brian since 9 o'clock, so I'm going to bid you all good night. I will be back tomorrow at 9:30 with the late night agenda, where we will really be counting down the hours in the transfer window. We'll look ahead to the game against Norwich as well. We're recording a podcast tomorrow night earlier on in the evening. I will give you details of when that will be coming out, probably tomorrow. But look, until then, as always, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your time. I really appreciate all your support on the channel. And I will sign off as I always do. Take care of your families. Tell your loved ones that you love them. Up the motherfucking Reds. And love to each and every one of you.